A few students were having confusion about certain market structures, including perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and others. So, I'll try to give it to all of you in a very simple way. First, you should know what is a market, okay? So, a market is a place where goods are bought and sold, right? And what is a market structure? A market structure is based on the type of commodity sold, the number of sellers, the kind of buyers, the number of buyers, etc. Okay, whether there is advertising or not. So, all this is the information regarding market structure. So, market is essentially the place where goods are bought and sold, whereas market structure will differ based upon the other parameters. Okay, so in that the three key market structures are perfect competition, monopoly, and monopolistic competition, and then you have oligopoly. Okay, so in that oligopoly is a very distinct market structure. So let me try to do the first three: perfect competition, monopoly, and monopolistic competition, right? So here you have PC, perfect competition. Okay, so essentially what happens in perfect competition is there are large number of buyers and sellers, there is free entry and exit of firms, the product is homogeneous, and there is market information available about the products, and there is no artificial barriers to entry. Okay, so the main graph which you have to draw for perfect competition is the basic graph for all market structures is this one, which is what? You have to take the y origin and x axis, and then you have to draw the supply and demand curves and price and the output. So this will be the basic graph for, this is the industry graph, right? Then you have to draw the firms graphs. So there are essentially multiple graphs in perfect competition. In the long run you have certain conditions. Okay, so the main condition is MC should cut MR from below. Okay, and the other condition is of course what? The condition that MR should be equal to MC. Okay, so that will be the other important condition. So you here the graph for long run will be, this side you will take a revenue cost, and here you will have output. So in the long run you have MC is equal to MR here. So this will be the what? Long run average cost curve, long run marginal cost curve, and the long run marginal revenue, long run average revenue. Do you get the point? So here this is the long run cost curve. So this is the long run marginal cost curve, long run average cost curve, and LMR, long run marginal revenue, is equal to AR. So the point of equilibrium or the equilibrium price and output is this point. Okay, this is in the long run. In the short run you have to remember to put three graphs. So short run perfect competition is you have three graphs. You can just easily understand. For perfect competition you have revenue per cost along the y-axis and the output along the x-axis. So the first situation we take the case of normal profits. Okay, so the first situation is normal profit. So it will be here. So it will be SAC, S normal profit. This is the situation of normal profit. SMC, SMR, SAR, short run. So in the short run you will have three situations. So the first situation is normal profits under perfect competition. Then you also have, when you have revenue and cost along the y-axis and output along the x-axis, you can also have a possibility of loss in the case of perfect competition. So when the short and average cost curve is going to be what? It's going to be less than the short-run average revenue or the short-run marginal revenue, then this is the case of profit. So it is SMC. So here it is case of super normal profits. Okay, so we are just seeing where the SMC is cutting the SAR. So it is here short-run marginal cost curve. So this is the equilibrium price and output. Okay. Now the third situation is the case of loss. So when will it be loss situation? When the cost is going to be more than the revenue. So if you take SAR, SMR, when the cost is going to be above the what? The revenue curve, then it will be case of loss. Right. So wherever the SMC is cutting, the SMR is the equilibrium price and output. Are you able to understand revenue and cost along the y-axis and the output along the x-axis? So this is the case of perfect competition. So are you able to understand? In the case of perfect competition, you have the industry graph, then you have the long run graph, which is, so you only have normal profits in the long run. In the short run, you have three situations where you have short run perfect competition, you have normal profits, you have supernormal profits, and you have loss, right? Now in the case of monopoly, monopoly is where there is only one firm and where the seller is a price maker. So in the case of monopoly, you have a particular kind of a situation, okay, wherein you have to know how to draw the revenue and cost curves in the short run and long run. So let's take monopoly. You have the industry graph, of course, is always the same. It is always demand curve is downward sloping, supply curve is upward sloping. So this will be the equilibrium price and output. Okay. So you have y-axis, origin and x-axis, price along the y-axis and the output along the x-axis. Okay. Then you have in the long run, in the case of monopoly, you have long run, wherein you have a case of supernormal profits. Okay. So because in the long run, it is always supernormal profits for the monopoly. So in the case of monopoly, we take long run cost curves. Okay. So you have revenue bar cost and output here, and here you have the marginal revenue curve, which is lower than the average revenue curve. This is the basic graph for monopoly. So wherever the MC cuts the MR from below and where MC is equal to MR, you have to mark that point, and you see that the what happens is this is the point. Okay, so here you have, in the case of long run, you have essentially what is the main situation? You have the case of supernormal profits. Okay, in the long run, it's always supernormal profits for a monopolist. Okay, so the cost curve will be lower. So LMR, LAR, LMC, and it is LAC here, right? So this is the graph for long run. In the short run for monopoly, you have three graphs. You have only two graphs. Okay, so you have only the case of supernormal profits and profits. So essentially, unlike in perfect competition, wherein you have three situations, a possibility of loss, supernormal profits and profits, here you have only two situations. So it will be like this. So you have MR, then you have AR. So it's the short run marginal revenue, short run average revenue. Then you have the short run marginal, cost. Okay, so in the case of short run, you have a what? Cost, average cost less than short run average revenue. So that will be one situation of supernormal profits. The other situation is where you have MR, AR, short run marginal cost. You have the case of normal profits. So this will be the case of so essentially this is the main points regarding monopoly and perfect competition. Thank you.